at 10:30 p.m. last night, passed away at the age of 26. Max Kellerman was with me that night at ringside, and Max, the name Bathavian Scotland is a name that we will not soon forget.
Yeah, you know, the temptation for a broadcaster in this situation is it's your moment to shine and show how remorseful you are and how bad you feel about it, or maybe to talk about what can be done in the future to ensure the safety of fighters. And we'll do that in the coming weeks on Tuesday and/or Friday night fights. But for right now, what's important to remember is move over Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano, Evander Holyfield, Carmen Basilio. You got company in the heart department, because nobody in the history of boxing can ever say they had more heart than Bathavian Scotland. The best you can do in that department is match him. He had the heart of a champion.
Well put, Max. Unfortunately, at times, death presents itself in the sport of boxing, as it is a part of everyday life. And as in all of life, tonight we move forward and we carry with us the memory of the fallen. We'll be back to Atlanta in just a moment, but before we leave, we remember Bathavian Scotland, and we send our deepest condolences to his family as well as his friends.
We found it. We're closing in on the life form.
An ancient truth.
Dr. Ross has opened the door for us.
An eternal mystery.
I don't see how any living thing could survive out here.
An experience unlike any you've ever seen.
Oh my God.
This summer,
What is that?
Look out!
discover the ultimate power of Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within.
Opens everywhere July 11th.
The lawnmower cut off my foot. I slipped down to wet feet and got my hand caught in the mixer tube.
And I went right under the boat, and the motor, it cut my leg.
In a new video by the War Amps called Spot the Danger, kids in the Champ program warn that safety is no accident. For more information about the Play Safe program or Spot the Danger, please contact the War Amps.
Play safe.
While Mark was putting up his own for sale sign, someone else was helping his neighbors, Paul and Diane, with the plans to sell their home. As Mark spent Saturday figuring out legal agreements and trying to set his home's value, someone else was preparing a counteroffer so Paul could help at the school fundraiser. And while Mark and his wife were reevaluating their asking price once again, someone else was finalizing the sale for Paul and Diane. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're realtors. Real estate is our life.
Six Flags Over Georgia's our home tonight for Tuesday night fights presented by Miller High Life. The finest of Atlanta is here for the card, along with a fired-up Falcon squad. They're all here to root for one of their own, Georgia's O'Neal Bell. He is the cruiserweight that is climbing up the charts with 15 wins, all by way of knockout. Tonight, he's in with Jason Robinson, a former kickboxing champion, chasing a new belt. In addition, they follow him across the South. Noon in Georgia's Evo Elder is 13-0 and aiming for a title shot. Tonight, his toughest test yet, Emmanuel Clottey. It's going to be an exciting night of boxing. Hang on.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Fight!
It's been a hit-and-miss day for rain here in Atlanta, but it's a beautiful night for boxing. Max Kellerman along with
Beautiful being
Mario
the
is
operative
here.
word there, Mario.
Well, it's time to operate for the two of us here.
All right.
It's
You got my undivided attention now.
we need to focus on boxing, Max. All right. And the fight that everyone here in Atlanta is focusing on this evening, junior welterweight action, Emmanuel Clottey against Evo Elder.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing about Evo Elder is that he and his father are trying to challenge the old adage in boxing that a father and son shouldn't work together. Several teams in recent boxing history have challenged that axiom, and they've turned it around a little bit. Shane Mosley and Jack Mosley. To a lesser degree, Floyd Mayweather and his father. Ham Johnson and Mark Too Sharp Johnson. But there are still countless examples. Boxing history is littered with examples of father-son relationships that haven't worked out. And Elder the Elder, his father, are an example of a team that some people are a little bit suspicious about. They feel that the Elder, the father, is living through his son vicariously a little too much. Well, this is the first real test for Ebo Elder, the fighter, as a professional. Let's see how he handles it.
All right, thank you very much, Max. And we now present our opening bout of the evening. It's a co-main event presented by Miller High Life. It's O'Neal Bell against Jason Robinson in action from the cruiserweight division. And that is a look at Jason Robinson right there. Comes in excellent shape at a height of 6'2", weight 190. He's 26 years of age, fighting out of Maywood, Illinois. He's marked 13-1-0 with 7 knockouts. Crowd here at ringside cheering for the hometown fighter, O'Neal Bell. Comes in with almost the same type of dimensions. His weight 191, height 6'1", age 26, out of Roswell, Georgia. His mark is 15-1-0 with 15 knockouts. But look at this graphic right here. 15-1 overall, 15 KOs, 93% knockout percentage, 10 KOs in the first 3 rounds, 3 first-round knockouts. He is an absolute workhorse inside of the ring as well as outside of the ring. Cassandra Henderson has more with that.
Mario, well, there is a story circulating throughout Atlanta. O'Neal Bell is brutal when it comes to sparring partners. Recently, he's in the ring sparring with a guy. He hurts the guy so bad, the guy says no more. O'Neal gets so angry, he proceeds to take off his gloves and says, I'm going to beat you one way or the other. O'Neal Bell means business each and every time he steps into the ring. And I know Max has a lot to say about that.
Yeah, starting with the fact that I think Cassandra cleaned up what O'Neal Bell really had to say there.
And we start first round of action between Bell and Robinson. Action from the cruiserweight division.
Little lightning in the background. Here comes one of these tortured metaphors, I guess you call it. Lightning strikes here tonight for one of these 2 cruiserweights. This division's so wide open.
But it's a division, Max. It really does not draw the attention of many in the sport of boxing.
That's right. That's why one impressive win. Since Holyfield left the division, it hasn't been in the public eye. And how long ago did he leave already? 1988, 89? He was a great cruiserweight, and since then there haven't been any really great cruiserweights. So one impressive performance, an electrifying performance. They're getting back to the lightning. You see what I did there just there?
It's cute.
And all of a sudden, you got eyes opened looking at these because the division is wide open. Girov is there. He's impressive, but there's rumors that he's ducking James Toney. They had a fight set on Coney Island. That's not coming through. Virgil Hill just upset Teotso. I mean, the division's wide open. You have one impressive showing, and suddenly you're a major player there. Meanwhile, both these guys, Bell and Robinson, haven't lost in a long time. I mean, it's been 4 years since either one of these guys lost. How long has it been?
It's an extremely pivotal fight for both fighters, no doubt about it, and one where defeat tonight is a first in ages for both. But it will be very interesting to see how this fight develops, because many people were not giving Jason Robinson much of a chance coming into this bout.
That's a good point. And Bell, you've heard a lot of good things about him. Cassandra mentioned a few there at the top, and there are lots of rumors about how hard he works and what a tough fighter he is. But Robinson ain't used to losing, folks. This is a guy and you can see they're both fighting that way. Neither one of these guys looks like he's coming in here to roll over. It's been a crisp, action-packed fight so far.
It is an absolute wide-open division, but it places the fighters in a very difficult position, because here you have 2 fighters in Robinson and Bell, decent records. Let's say if one loses tonight, he can still bounce back and pad out his mark. Does he go up to a heavyweight, or does he possibly go back down and lose the weight and challenge at 175?
No, the heavyweights are too big nowadays for cruiserweights. I know Juan Carlos Gomez is trying it, and Holyfield did it. He was an undersized heavyweight. Oh, and by the way, Superman, so he was able to do it. But for the most part, these monsters are too big at heavyweight. There really should be a super heavyweight division, and I don't see either one of these guys getting down to light heavy. You look at them, they're in pretty good shape at 190. No, the cruiserweight's where they got to make their mark. And so far, neither really able to impose his will on his opponent. It's been back and forth.
Well, this first round has been back and forth between Robinson as well as Bell. We'll have round number 2 coming up in just a moment from Atlanta, Georgia.
There's a time for diplomacy and a time for action. Diplomacy is dead.
This Friday, Kiss. Fear. Goodbye. Jet Li. Bridget Fonda. Kiss of the Dragon. Friday, only in theaters.
Why is it so hard to save for a rainy day? Experts say we should all save at least 3 months' living expenses just in case, but most of us never do. Are we lazy? Undisciplined? No. So why is it so hard?
Because banks make it too hard.
If you don't have a big deposit, banks hardly give any interest.
How am I supposed to save?
Easy. Just call the number below and open an ING Direct Investment Savings account. You'll earn higher interest at up to 4 times higher than other banks. And saving is easy. For example, if you save $25 a week, our automatic savings program could grow it to $1,351 in only 1 year. Your money is never locked in, there are no service charges, and you don't have to give up your regular bank. To open an account or find out more, call now and save your money.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia for round number 2 between Bell and Robinson.
We saw a shot of Nina Allen, by the way, at the end of the last round. Cheerleader, Atlanta Falcons cheerleader slash fighter, and we saw her on Friday Night Fights about a year and a half ago in a fight I thought she won, and I thought she got robbed. Good little fighter.
Very evenly matched first round between Bell and Robinson. Just a difference of about 3 to 4 punches in terms of punches landed as well as thrown.
You know, one thing O'Neal does with those punches that you do see landing, and they haven't been landing on the chin, but he's been wisely throwing them to the chest, are those vicious overhand rights. Just throw it at the guy's chest at first. You don't have to worry about the chin right away. Not only is that a scoring body shot and can wear a guy down, but sometimes you aim for the chest and you hit the chin.
Hit the body. That's right. Hit that body. Hit the body.
O'Neal looks the hook to the body and the nice little right uppercut, but it's that overhand right that you can see.
You can see Bell just holding with the left hand and just raising.
There it is, and he wobbled Robinson badly with that right hand. He landed a right hand high on the head, and it looked like to me that Robinson was actually hurt, not just wobbled for a second, but looked like he was hurt there it is for a second.
But if you look at the way Bell holds on to that left arm, Max, he's constantly holding on, wrapping, and then just throwing that uppercut. Many referees would jump in there and call it an illegal tactic.
Yeah, but they would also say, you know, punch out of it, and he might argue that he's trying to punch out of it. Certainly, he's punching well right now, and it's that right hand right up the middle he's throwing, almost overhand. That's looks like his most vicious punch.
Well, there is a lot of blood now coming down the right nostril of Jason Robinson, and O'Neal backs him up with a right, and he's got Robinson in trouble in the corner.
There it was again and again. You saw two of those right hands. And it's funny, you know, he took something off those right hands, which is why they landed more accurately. Sometimes you slow up the punch and you don't try and swing quite as hard, and that's when you land your shots.
The standing 8 is being administered. This is allowed in the state of Georgia. It is not a common rule, but in Georgia, they do acknowledge the standing 8 count, and Jason Robinson has just received it. And O'Neal Bell continues with the onslaught. Everything he's throwing, Max, seems to be landing.
That's right. People, after last week's situation, people worried about the fighter's safety. Generally, the second round in a close fight, a guy's taking too much punishment, you don't have to worry. It's when you see 2, 3, 4 rounds of this kind of punishment consecutively that you need a fight stop. I like that call by the ref. I thought it was right on the money, the standing 8.
O'Neal Bell says he has a very awkward style, but it has worked for him beautifully here tonight in just a matter of 6 minutes of action. Jason Robinson and O'Neal Bell going at it from Atlanta. We'll have more when we continue.
Why is it so hard to save for a rainy day? Experts say we should all save at least 3 months' living expenses just in case, but most of us never do. Are we lazy? Undisciplined? No. So why is it so hard?
Because banks make it too hard.
If you don't have a big deposit, banks hardly give any interest.
How am I supposed to save?
Easy. Just call the number below and open an ING Direct investment savings account. You'll earn higher interest at up to 4 times higher than other banks. And saving is easy. For example, if you save $25 a week, our automatic savings program could grow it to $1,351 in only 1 year. Your money is never locked in, there are no service charges, and you don't have to give up your regular bank. To open an account or find out more, call now and save your money.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Welcome back to ringside here at Six Flags over Georgia. It's been an incredible bout here for O'Neal Bell early on against Jason Robinson, Max.
See a little flurry. He's holding with the left, throwing the right uppercut. And that was kind of a looping right hook off the wrong foot. It's been working for him, though.
And this is what led to the standing 8 count. It was a flurry in the corner, but it wasn't. I mean, to say it was a flurry would be an injustice for Bell. It was really just a bunch of power
Hard
punches.
shots,
Yeah. You know, you think of flurry, you can think of someone like a Shane Mosley throwing a lot of,
or something.
yeah,
Ray
exactly.
Leonard. Yeah. Oh, that right hand again.
That right hand is just landing at will against Jason Robinson's chin.
That's it. He's lining him up for it. I mean, it's working. It's like I said last week, if a catcher can't throw you out, and Mike Piazza hasn't been able to throw anyone out recently. Everyone's just running wild on him. That's what you do.
Power punches have been the difference, Max. He's pretty much doubled him up there. 28 to 14 landed in the power punches. 50% accuracy with his blows as well. I mean, when you have accuracy and you have power behind it, it's devastating.
Yeah, you know, my father used to tell me stories about Sandy Koufax, how when he came up with the Brooklyn Dodgers originally, he was overthrowing a little bit. He threw 1,000,000 miles an hour, but with no control, and the pitching coach told him to slow it down a little bit. And as soon as Koufax slowed it down a little bit, you know, threw 95 instead of 100, he became maybe until Pedro Martinez, the greatest pitcher of all time. But sometimes with fighters, it's the same sort of thing. They got a real good, strong right hand, and they're too aggressive with it. They need just to get it under control a little bit, because you saw last round when Bell just kind of threw it not quite as hard. The accuracy started going, you know, more in the right direction for him. He started landing it and hurting Robinson.
And Robinson's trying to get in control here as well. But there's that body punch. It goes. Referee has called time here.
What's he doing? Why did he call time?
He's giving him a warning. I believe it was for the low blow, but he's landing those low punches.
Yeah.
And they open things up upstairs.
It's true, but they are kind of borderline on the belt, maybe not really low, maybe in the bladder more like, but it's the referee's discretion, and he just wants to make sure that he keeps him up.
Well, George Chip has already administered the 8 count here tonight. He's already provided a warning.
Generally,
he's making a statement that he will be involved throughout the bout.
And generally, the old saying in boxing is the referee's good if you don't notice him. But sometimes he has to take control, and I think the ref's done a good job so far.
No defense, though, by Jason Robinson as Bell continues to land the big left and right hooks. It's the right, though, that's been setting things up beautifully for him.
That's all.
And there's a left now by Jason Robinson that's got Bell
left
rocked.
uppercut, rather. Yeah, that left uppercut did business. That was
and Bell is now in trouble in the corner.
He was rocked by a left uppercut about 15 or 20 seconds ago, folks.
You can see Robinson's corner on their feet right there, screaming at him to continue to pour the pressure. Bell escapes.
And maybe I've overstated Bell's right hand in the first round and that left uppercut just then, but both of them reacted to those big shots like they were badly hurt for a moment or two.
Late punch there, but Chip is in the middle to split things up.
Scrap. Good scrap.
Let me get over here just a second. You get on there. Okay, good. That's right.
Look, left uppercut time. Left uppercut time. Towel, somebody. Where's the towel?
Give me the towel. Jimmy, get the towel. Okay. Give me that towel, babe.
Here you see the left uppercut counter by Robinson. That first one, I think, is the one that did it. You see, and then the follow-up kind of left hook off the wrong foot didn't really help things. There, Bell kind of not really respecting Robinson's power so far, able to land as he pleases, and if you want to counter a right hand, you got the guy wrapped up. Well, that wasn't the counter, but if you want to counter a right hand and a guy's just throwing it seemingly at will, you throw a nice short left hand just like that. If you know the right hand's coming. Time it and beat him to the punch.
O'Neal and Robinson have just gone back and forth throughout this bout. You can see total punches in terms of percentage. There's 31-26 in favor of Bell, who has come on here in the last 2 rounds, Max.
Yeah, Robinson had that good moment with the uppercut in the last round, and other than that, Bell, starting with the second round, has dominated the fight.
But you have to give him a ton of credit here for just bouncing back from just a beating that he was not expecting here in the first and second round. And credit goes to his corner as well for getting him back into this fight. Well, he seemed to be out on his feet.
Well, you know something? It's the people at home know. You get in the habit of quitting something, you'll continue to quit. A fighter that loses because he gives a little bit, and does, you know, even if you're going to the gym, Mario, you go to the gym, you don't go so much this week. It's easier to keep not going, or anything in your life that you need to do consistently. But a fighter like Robinson that's been winning for a while and hasn't been giving in those situations, in those tough spots, is less likely to give because he's trained himself. He's in the habit of pushing through those tough spots, and that's what makes good fights. 2 guys like that. We have 2 of them here tonight.
Well, Robinson has not lost in nearly 4 years. His last defeat coming against Rahman Green in September of 1997. He was knocked out in the first round of that bout.
And Robinson looked like he rocked Bell again with a good, crisp flurry. And I'm going to make a Muhammad Ali, George Foreman reference here that people say, how can you compare it? But it kind of reminded me of those mid-round flurries.
Oh, and there goes Robinson with the left that knocks down O'Neal Bell.
That's it, the left hand, but it started with that Ali-esque flurry off the ropes, where a guy's kind of like Foreman, sleepwalking in, not respecting what's going on, and he snapped his head back, snapped Bell's head back with a good 3-4 punch combination. And that's what I think set up that knockdown a little bit later.
That's a slip there. Robinson
jumped into each other.
Went in with the body, and Bell put his shoulder down and knocked him down. Fitting that we had the Falcons cheerleaders there at ringside, because it looked like a nice block to me.
That ring is wet from the rain. And it's impressive that these guys have held up as well as they have so far. It's those, and that might be the idea for Robinson. Let Bell feel comfortable and confident, come in kind of sleepwalking, and you bounce off and hit him with those 2 and 3 and 4 punch combinations.
Well, Cassandra Henderson passed us a note here in between rounds saying that
always working.
That O'Neal's corner surprised at how great a shape Jason Robinson is in for this fight.
I don't know why they'd be surprised. The guy hasn't lost in a couple of years.
And look how he's delivering.
Never underestimate your opponent. And if you're Robinson, you're thrilled if they've underestimated you.
The following deals with erectile difficulties. Some scenes may be disturbing.
And again.
Good. That's it.
Anything else?
Nothing.
Okay. See you next year.
You can do something about erectile difficulties. Call now for a free informative guide. You'll learn about what causes ED and about treatment options. You'll also receive a self-evaluation questionnaire. Don't suffer in silence. Call 1-800-763-9888. It's free and completely confidential.
I'm setting this guy up on a blind date to show that right guard extreme sport works under the most extreme conditions. Ladies! See? Extreme protection is odor and wetness. Goes on clear, doesn't quit.
Get extreme. Get right guard. Okay. You see a guy's head get flown 3 or 4 times in different directions. Knockouts soon follow generally, and there was one. Bell's back hit the ropes. He was squared up, and he got caught with a straight left hand. You back hit the ropes, and you come off the ropes squared up to your opponent with both feet facing him and your torso facing him instead of at an angle with your shoulder, you can get dropped. There's more of you to hit, and you have no anchor back foot to keep you upright if you do get hit.
Well, Bell is staying right in front of Robinson now, not showing as much movement as before, and before he got clipped when he was moving around there, and his foundation isn't shit.
And you know something, what you see Robinson throwing more and landing more last round. What I don't like about what I'm seeing from Bell, you gotta love his determination and his physical strength and the way he keeps firing those vicious shots. But he's showing himself to be a little bit one-dimensional, if not one-dimensional, at least unable to make adjustments. He may be able to make an adjustment, but he's not doing it. In other words, he may have the ability that he can box a little bit, but we're not seeing it here. He just keeps coming forward, throwing that big overhand right, and maybe it'll work for him, but it could lead to disaster, and against a better fighter, it will lead to disaster.
Speaking of disaster, one of Robinson's close friends on Friday night suffered his first defeat as a professional, Michael Bennett. I asked him about that fight and what it meant for him. Said he was devastated by seeing his friend go down. However, he realizes that in this sport, you just cannot take anything for granted, and he said that it pretty much inspired him going into today's bout.
Oh.
Big left there by Robinson that rocks Bell.
Oh. That was no joke, man. Waved in the breeze. Bell waved in the breeze, and he is in serious trouble. A dangerous guy, clearly, and Robinson just waved in the breeze from a devastating... I mean, these guys are trading very big shots, folks, and they're landing flush. From 1 second, it looks like one guy's about to drop, and the next second, it looks like the next guy. I don't know if that's coming through as much on the TV screen, but seeing here live, sitting ringside, you can really see it. They're both waving when they get hit with those shots. Robinson from Bell's right hand, Bell from Robinson's left hook. Keep your eyes peeled. Don't go to the fridge for that Miller High Life yet. Not right now. Wait to the commercial, and you wait for in-between fights and run, but not during this, folks.
Bell gets cracked again with another left by Robinson. And it's just an amazing change of momentum here.
That's
for Jason Robinson.
You just hit the nail on the head. The momentum shifts in this fight with each punch thrown. What concerns me about Bell is a little bit predictable. He just keeps coming forward with that right hand, and Robinson might time him.
Brush up on great taste at Harvey's. Right now, we're brushing a delectable teriyaki sauce on our grilled chicken and topping it with tomatoes and lettuce. Harvey's Teriyaki Grilled Chicken. Try it. Real. Big. Taste. Harvey's.
Canadians have places to go, things to do, so they go Midas. Alignment, we do that. Air conditioning, we do that. Brakes, we do that. So for total car care by certified technicians, who does it all? Midas. We do that.
The following deals with erectile difficulties. Some scenes may be disturbing.
And again.
Good. That's it.
Anything else?
Nothing.
Okay. See you next year.
You can do something about erectile difficulties. Call now for a free informative guide. You'll learn about what causes ED and about treatment options. You'll also receive a self-evaluation questionnaire. Don't suffer in silence. Call 1-800-763-9888. It's free and completely confidential.
It's made for rust, and it's made to last. It's bright and new because it dries so fast. So what's going on?
It's Trimclad.
It keeps walls and walkways attractive and neat. It's the perfect paint to cover concrete. So what's going on?
It's Trimclad.
To completely revive a great old door, spray on hammered or brilliant silver decor. So what's going on?
It's Trimclad.
Fast dry concrete, hammered and metallic. New paints from a trusted old friend. Trimclad. It's what's going on.
And it's raining outside of the ring here in Atlanta, and inside, they're raining punches.
I saw where you were going with that one. And here we go. That right hand, look, there it is. That right hand is just predictable. Robinson times him, smacks him with a left hook, and it rocked him, folks. You didn't see his legs just there, but his legs shook. And later in the round, this should be Bell's right hand right here. No, it's more Robinson.
Come on, baby. And there is O'Neal Bell's fan club here in Atlanta.
O'Neal and Robinson.
They're
like
fine.
an NBA matchup.
And we're talking about the momentum at the end of the last round, Max. Look at the last 4 rounds. 23-22 in terms of differences for punches landed for Bell, and then it just shifted completely the other way in favor of Robinson.
This is anybody's fight, and I know it may look to some that Bell is the stronger of the two. He stays aggressive, but when a fighter doesn't show the willingness to adapt to his man and make adjustments, in professional sports and all professional sports on a world-class level, it's about adjustments. When you don't make those adjustments, another guy's adjusting to you and you wind up losing the fight.
Well, we saw the adjustments that Robinson's made since early on. You see that he's carrying his hands much higher than before as Bell swings wildly and misses. He's carrying his hands much higher,
Robinson,
and he's made the adjustments necessary that you were alluding to in this fight, but he's pretty much stayed with the same type of game plan, and that's the press forward, which he's doing right now, and leading with that right.
Yeah, except that what I've noticed from after the first round is Robinson waits for Bell to get a little happy with that right hand. And he times him and counters him with left hands. And even there, you see that's rhythm that Robinson is showing right there. It's throwing punches when the other guy's not expecting it. It's not just going out and moving your hands. Robinson has been throwing in the last several rounds at the time where Bell's not expecting it, where it doesn't seem like there should be a punch there. It's disrupting Bell's rhythm, and it's scoring for Robinson. Not to make it sound one-sided, it's certainly not. This is anybody's fight. And Bell just rocks Robinson with a left-right. Also, keep in mind, these gloves might be a little bit waterlogged at this point, which means heavier and landing harder.
And now this is starting to change again in favor of O'Neal Bell.
Yeah, Robinson don't want to be in that corner.
The momentum is changing once again here in Atlanta. We're in the 6th round of a Schedule 10. In this opening bout of the evening, it's the co-main event. Coming up, the main event, Ivo Elder and Emmanuel Claudy in just a few minutes. But Jason Robinson and O'Neal Bell are just going at it and getting the crowd fired up here early.
Good lead right hand from Bell, maybe lacking some of the snap it had a few rounds earlier. Left hand counter from Robinson right afterwards. You just saw another left from Robinson. Mario, if you ask someone what's the #1 priority, you want to see a good fight, what's the first thing you're looking for to make a fight compelling? Probably shifts in momentum. And this fight, you're absolutely right. From moment to moment, you don't know who's in control, and it's making it for a very entertaining fight.
Big right by Bell, but Robinson stays right in front of him and follows up with the left. Don't go away. Bell and Robinson are going at it.
Welcome back to TSN Tonight. I'm Dan Paula. The Toronto Maple Leafs into the free agent waters in the NHL, signing free agent Alexander McGillney. It's a 4-year deal worth about $22 million.
This team is not far at all from winning it all, so that's played a major role in my decision, I should say. So I like what I saw on the ice.
When Blake and Sakic were signed before the free agent market really opened, the next guy on the list is the guy that we got. So we're quite pleased.
And the Maple Leafs also signing goaltender Michael Tellqvist, who's expected to back up Curtis Joseph next year. Buffalo Sabres re-signing enforcer Rob Ray to a one-year deal. The Dallas Stars agreeing to terms with free agent winger Valerie Kaminsky. Has to clear waivers as part of his contract with the Rangers. Blue Jays losing 7-2 to the Devil Rays. More boxing coming up right after this.
Dave Chappelle here. I'm setting this guy up on a blind date to show that right guard extreme sport works under the most extreme conditions. Ladies! You gotta get a number, dog. See? Extreme protection against odor and wetness. Love hurts. Goes on clear, doesn't quit. You guys are really hitting it off.
Right Guard Extreme Sport. Get extreme. Get Right Guard.
Thomas! Edwin Will. Thank you. Drop the floor, men. Punch! Take care of it. Take that shit.
Here you see some of the action from the last round. This doesn't need too much explanation. Guys are winging hard shots at each other.
And we return to the action here between Robinson and Bell. Live action.
Robinson just took a real strong right hand that had staggered him, that same type of right earlier in the fight, and shook his head like he shook off the punch and kept coming forward.
Break, step back.
You know,
Don't use the rope for spin. All right?
they reset, just reload, and go at it again. Oh.
Big right that lands on Robinson by Bell, but it seems like it's Bell that gets the worst out of it.
Yeah,
he almost stumbles.
It's all he's doing. It's Ali dubbed George Foreman the mummy. He just keeps coming at you. Very predictable. Bell's being too predictable. He has a lot of heart, a lot of determination. He's physically strong, a nice right hand. He's a fierce competitor, but he's too predictable. And whether unwilling or unable to make changes, we don't know. But he's not making adjustments as the fight wears on.
And where Robinson, as you mentioned, Max, the adjustment factor here is where Robinson's been successful is that he's been able to counterpunch effectively.
Although he's still getting hit with too many of those predictable right hands.
He is.
And that maybe is just a tribute to Bell's athleticism. He's able to get the punch home because he's quick enough and strong enough. And you know something, and determined enough. A lot of times you say, how did the guy land a right hand? Didn't look that quick. Because he's brave enough and determined enough that he'll go in and throw it in the face of punches coming back.
Well, now's where the courage is going to really start to take place because, Max, neither of these two guys have much experience past the 6th round. In fact, only 2 fights in the 8th round for Robinson, while Bell has gone the distance in his last 2. And we talk about the activity late in the fight. Keep in mind the activity during their careers. For Robinson, he's only had 1 fight in 2001, 3 in 2000. Referees calling time here for a moment. It's a mouthpiece, I believe.
If that's the case with Robinson.
It's a mouthpiece.
If that's the case with Robinson, then win or lose this fight, he should be very encouraged because he's in with a rising contender.
In his backyard.
In the rising contender's backyard, in the rain, in these kind of less than perfect conditions. Weathered an early storm, and although he's been inactive, relatively inactive, has put up a good, strong showing. So win or lose, Robinson should be encouraged by this performance.
You can see the people at ringside with umbrellas in the background. We are in an amphitheater here in the back of the park at Six Flags, where it's been raining all afternoon, but the ring has not really been that affected except for a certain part of it. The far side of the ring, as you are watching right now, has been hit with some sprinkles. So the fighters as well have kind of like made this ring a bit smaller, trying to avoid that area for the slippery canvas as Robinson continues to launch his punches in on Bell.
You know, and last week I was explaining how a southpaw, well, we'll get to that next. We'll get to that next round. You guys are still going at it.
All right, while these two are still going out in the ring, we prepare for our main event. Cassandra Henderson is standing by with Ebo Elder. Cassandra.
Thanks, Mario. Well, Ebo, this is your toughest opponent yet. Why take this fight now, and why in front of your hometown?
Well, I'm going to be proving a lot by beating Emmanuel Colati, and who better to do it in front of than my great friends and family.
Obviously, you have a different strategy for fighting this guy. Tell me about it.
It's really no different than do my thing, go in there and be focused, be spiritually prepared, mentally prepared. I'm physically prepared, so it's just a matter of doing the same thing I do in the gym every day, just intensifying it a little bit.
What about emotionally? How's the pressure? Are you trying to ink a deal with a major network? Your friends and family are here, tough opponent. Describe the pressure.
I really enjoy it. This is a fighter's dream, you know, getting to do something like this. I'm really blessed. Having such good friends and family and fans and everybody being here is really a blessing, a total blessing.
All right, good luck to you. Yes, let's go back to Mario Max.
All right, thank you very much.
Easy to root for that kid.
He's a very interesting young man. And he's amazing story behind his career.
And easy to root for these two guys the way they're as hard as they've been fighting. As I was saying last week I made the point that with a southpaw, you want to keep your lead foot outside of his lead foot to move him in the direction you want him to move, to make him essentially retreat. The southpaw wants to move counterclockwise. When he moves clockwise, he's actually retreating. He just can't get as much on his punches. And it's vice versa for an orthodox fighter. In this case, Bell seems to be conscious of moving away from Robinson from his left hand. Not necessarily always keeping, you see whose outside foot is outside of whose outside foot. In other words, Robinson's right foot tends to be outside Bell's left foot. And yet Bell is moving away from Robinson's left hand. He's just sick of getting tagged with it. But even if you're moving away from the left hand, unless you keep that outside foot in front of the other guy's outside foot, it's not going to make a difference because you're still going to be in range for it.
Call it the Georgia Waltz.
And if anyone could understand what I just said, congratulations, because I could barely make it out.
There you go. Watch out. Straight right here. Straight right hand. Break under. Head up. Get on it.
Felt like a who's on first routine. Yeah.
I'm just letting you go with that.
Yeah, right.
Well, the two most pivotal rounds for both these fighters still remain, but here we are midway through the 8th, and Max, I'm not going to ask you how you actually score in this fight, but how do you see this momentum? Who would it say it's leaning in favor of right now?
I've been watching the fight same as the people at home, man. I don't know. This is the kind of fight you got to be sitting down, not second-guessing a judge, sitting down and thinking to yourself, in order to score a fight like this, every second of every round, who's winning this round and why? Who's winning the round and why? And at the end of the round, you put down your score, who won it, it's 10-9, then you give the guy who scored a knockdown, if there was one, an extra point, or you take off a point if there's been a point deduction, and in the next round, you start from a clean slate. Who's winning this round and why? And at the end, you add up your scorecards. There's no kind of schoolyard scoring, as we said, where you say, well, you kind of get the feeling who's carrying the momentum, who's... That don't exist in professional scoring. There shouldn't.
Well, look at Bell right now, just pushing around Robinson, and you're talking about one guy carrying the other. It's literally the case here inside the ring, Max.
They started to maul each other a little bit. Those, if those gloves are in fact waterlogged with, it's been raining, not only are they going to land harder, they're going to be heavier to throw. It's going to wear you out more. There goes that right hand again, and there comes another one. And Robinson, he's been doing a good job, a decent job of timing the right, but I don't think good enough. He's been, considering how predictable Bell's been with the right hand, he could be doing a better job of timing it, avoiding it, and countering.
Well, the left has been the bigger difference in this fight for both fighters, but for Robinson in particular. 2 rounds left in this amazing first fight of the night. Round 4.
Introducing the all-new Mazda Protege 5. With 16-inch alloy wheels, GFX package, sport interior, 5 doors, there's enough room for your stuff and your life. It's fun to drive, and even more fun to win. Enter the Mazda Fill the 5 contest for your chance to win a 2-year lease on the all-new Protege 5. Zoom into tsn.ca/Mazda and correctly load up the Protege 5 for your chance to win. The Mazda Fill the 5 contest. Fill it, win it, drive it.
See that? Well, that's the big, bold taste of bullseye. And that? Well, that's your cowardly taste buds. Bullseye barbecue sauce. Big, bold taste.
This program is brought to you in part by AT&T Canada.
Remember, Wendy's pickup windows open late so you can eat great even late.
See you later.
We test dehydration under extreme conditions. We test how the brain works when the body is fatigued. We test over and over in a real lab with real athletes with a very focused goal of improving athletic performance. It's called the Gatorade Sports Science Institute. You can look it up.
Don't
Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. Mario Diaz and Max Kellerman, along with Cassandra Henderson, standing by ringside for round number 9 between Jason Robinson and O'Neal Bell.
And you can again, you see Bell's thing. He falls in with a right hand, and it's very predictable. Robinson, at this point in the fight, rather than just mauling each other, they're getting angry at each other. You're in a fight.
This corner. O'Neal, to this corner, to this corner.
And George Chip now.
I know. We're going to fight. I'm going to disqualify both of you. Think about that.
Chip's not playing games.
We're going to fight. I'm going to disqualify both of you. You both lose your fucking purse.
George Chip not taking anything from anybody here this evening. He's coming in here and he's making them. And Max, we just mentioned the slip earlier. You could see that O'Neal Bell just slipped.
The ring is slick, and this referee is not playing games. He's letting them know exactly that who's in charge. This is not going to get out of control. Hey, if Robinson's mad at Bell right now, the best thing he could do is just wait for Bell to fall in with a right hand, counter him with a left hand, rather than mauling each other and acting as if it's the last round of Rocky 1 or 2. You know, just throwing caution to the wind. Time the guy, because Bell's doing the same thing every round.
Well, they're fighting now.
There it is.
And neither fighter can afford a disqualification this late in a fight at this stage of their career.
No, and you could see the way Chip told them, the way the ref told them both, he's going to disqualify them, that he was very serious about it. And they believed him. He convinced them.
Great. Quit pushing, O'Neal. Follow my commands.
He essentially told them, you know, you get DQ'd, you ain't going to get paid. Whether or not that's true, fighters after fighting this hard don't want to hear that.
Well, usually there's a hearing with the commission and they have a meeting and decide by way
you're not
but you can
about
see
all
that
that.
He's pushing them out, literally out of the ring.
But part of that may be because they're slipping all over the place. They're holding on to each other for balance. In this situation, you ain't thinking, I'm going to go before the commission, get my purse anyway. You're thinking, I want to get paid for this. And this is too tough not to get paid for it.
O'Neal Bell is not really throwing as many punches in this round because of the fact that I think he's just pretty much punched out. He is just hugging Jason Robinson and trying to push him around.
Agreed. He falls in, and look who's holding who. Bell is falling in and then clinching. It's Robinson trying to wrestle himself free.
Right! Let go of him! Let go of him, Jason. Step back. Box!
And it sounds like being a little bit one-sided towards Robinson throughout the fight, because the way Bell started the fight, you really thought he was going to dominate, and Robinson showed a lot of character coming back in the fight, making it competitive.
Introducing the all-new Mazda Protege 5. With 16-inch alloy wheels, GFX package, sport interior, 5 doors, there's enough room for your stuff and your life. It's fun to drive, and even more fun to win. Enter the Mazda Fill the 5 contest for your chance to win a 2-year lease on the all-new Protege 5. Zoom into tsn.ca/Mazda and correctly load up the Protege 5 for your chance to win. The Mazda Fill the 5 contest. Fill it, win it, drive it.
Very first time I saw your face, my heart stopped beating.
The Twister. It's KFC you can eat with one hand. At KFC, we do chicken twisted.
She's a real beauty. And she never bugs you about spending so much time with the guys. She never complains about you watching football. She thinks a little gas is a good thing. Maybe she isn't a she after all. Here's to the perfect relationship. Here's how to keep it that way.
And welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. ESPN 2, along with Miller High Life, presenting the co-main event of the evening between Jason Robinson and O'Neal Bell. And you can see that O'Neal Bell has slowed down here in the latter part of this fight, especially in round number 9. And his corner telling him, Max, while we were away break. You need to finish strong. You need to finish like a world champion. Tough to do when you're not fighting and you don't have a time.
He hasn't made adjustments. I don't know if they just thought coming in they're going to walk over Robinson, a guy who hasn't lost in several years. That's a bad mistake to underestimate any opponent. But all it is doing that. This is what Bell's doing. He's falling in with right hands. Overhand right, straight right, just falling straight in.
Keep a shot on you. Keep a shot.
This fight has been extremely demanding on the two fighters.
And you know,
look at, you can see the distance for both fighters.
Right. One guy did it twice, one guy did it once. The interesting thing to me here is that 3 guys win out of this. The ref comes out a winner. This guy should get more work. He's very good, and he hasn't been trying to make a show of himself, but he's kept control of the fight beautifully. And both guys, Bell, a strong, young, rising contender with a lot of courage and determination and physical strength and punching power, and Robinson, a guy who's been slightly less active than Bell recently, coming in and against a guy like that, weathering an early storm and putting on a good show. Everyone in the ring right now is a winner.
Let me ask you this, does the defeat really derail either guy?
Oof. Well, listen, of course you'd rather win than lose, clearly. Obviously, a win is huge here, but it doesn't matter who wins in the sense that neither guy's rep is going to be damaged. Of course, you'd think that Robinson has a little bit more to win, a little bit less to lose, because coming in, the feeling is Bell's the favorite.
Well, the favorite has thrown some fireworks, and he's seen some connect against him at the same time here.
And the thing about both of them, they've shown solid chins, and when I say Bell's not making adjustments, that's something you can work on. That's not like, oh, he'll never be a good enough fighter to win a title or something. You can work on not making adjustments, doing the same thing over and over. It's not so easy to work on your punching power, your ability to take a punch, your willingness to fight through adversity, and both these guys have shown that. So mistakes that they've made are correctable, and both have reasons to be encouraged.
Right, quick question. Stop fighting. Come on. Press 7 rounds.
They've been doing a bunch of holding, and that's where it's shown that they haven't been this distance a lot in their careers. They've held over the last several rounds, and it's slowed the pace down a bit.
It's a great point, Max, because we started the fight with one guy dominating the other. The momentum shifted to the other, and we end it with both pretty much dancing around the ring.
I'm sure they've both learned a lot from this fight.
This fight right now is a toss-up. We're going to have the official decision from Atlanta coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
The feeling is familiar. The package is new.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Introducing the all-new Mazda Protege 5.
Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Same feeling. New ride.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order? Excuse me?
I speak Atlantean. Toke. Subok Gimgasha Kaimel.
Disney's Atlantis The Lost Empire has arrived at McDonald's, and so is our delicious honey mustard crispy chicken sandwich. So discover our always changing new taste menu and see Disney's new animated adventure.
Whoa, cool SUV.
Hey, thanks. What's an SUV?
We test dehydration under extreme conditions. We test how the brain works when the body is fatigued. We test over and over in a real lab with real athletes with the very focused goal of improving athletic performance. It's called the Gatorade Sports Science Institute. You can look it up.
Working the desk with Dutch is great, but this gig means I'm passing my CFL spot off to Dave Randorf. Now, I know my old buddies Chris, Matt, and Eric will extend the same kind of professional respect to him that they did to me.
Oh, you've done this before. Ow! Not the suit. Yes! He did it!
Countdown's on, Dave. TSN kicks off the CFL season on Wednesday.
And And welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia, where we are awaiting the decision between Jason Robinson and O'Neal Bell. It's been an intriguing fight, 10 rounds of action. In case you're just joining us, here's what you missed.
Early in the fight, it looked like Bell was going to walk through him. Rocking him with right hands, and Robinson didn't seem to have too many answers. And the round 3 was more of Bell until Robinson came up with an answer in the form of a left uppercut with his back to the corner that totally changed the momentum of the fight. And the 4th was more of the same, back and forth action. Robinson knocks Bell down coming off the ropes. That's a 2-point round. There's Bell doing more business, and then Robinson countering the right hands with a left hand. Left hook off the wrong foot. Unless it was a straight right hand, and I just didn't see a left hand, and I just didn't see it off the angle. And then towards the end of the fight became much more mauling, and then much more mauling than brawling, but it was still entertaining.
Well, it's been an entertaining fight, and now it's time for the official decision. Let's go to the center of the ring.
Judge Erwin Deutsch scores about 97-91. Judge Tommy O'Boyle scores about 96-92. And Judge David Lynn scores about 97-92 for your winner by unanimous decision. Fighting out of the blue corner, O'Neal, give him hell, Bell.
A very interesting decision, Max, considering number 1, it was unanimous. Number 2, the margin of victory in terms of the points there.
Well,
for O'Neal Bell.
You know, it is Bell's hometown, but we should talk more about this right after this interview. Cassandra got him already. Cassandra's everywhere.
I'm coming.
Mario, congratulations, O'Neal. 15 knockouts in a row, no KO for you tonight. How tough was this fight?
It was very tough. I did not underestimate him, but I didn't think it was going to last that long. He's in excellent condition. I didn't mind going to 10 rounds because I know what I did. Road work, a lot of sparring, tremendous sparring. Guys like Tom Wynn and his brother, excellent sparring.
All right, you hear the crowd booing, so obviously they think Jason won. What do you think?
Well, you heard the decision, 96-91, 95-91. I won. You know, I put on a good show. I knew what I was doing. Yes, I got dropped, but that's experience.
Okay, your trainer told me yesterday you could be a great fighter. After your performance tonight, what do you need to do to become a great fighter?
Reevaluate. I was rushing things. Hometown, first time, well, second time on ESPN, biggest crowd behind me, you know. So that right there, it motivated me, but it can take a lot out of you too. So just really I use that as a learning experience.
All right, congratulations again. We'll see you soon. Back to you, Mario.
All right, thank you very much, Cassandra. And educated fight fans here in Atlanta, Max, it's not too often that you see a hometown crowd boo one of their own with a decision.
Well, and I think that it goes along the lines with our commentary. Maybe Bell did win the fight by those margins. I have to go back, look at a tape, and score each round, as I said, individually, say who's winning each second of this round and why. And there's always that tendency when the underdog does better than he's supposed to do to give him kind of sympathy rounds. Well, he came close enough. You could give him that round. But I don't think we should necessarily second-guess the judges just because it is the guy's hometown. It could be that a lot of those competitive rounds, Bell was consistently winning by enough of a margin to give it to him. And so all those competitive rounds, you know, you get a fight where 10 rounds, they're all competitive, but fighter A wins each round by a little bit. Well, it's on the scorecards, it's going to be a landslide. That was not a lopsided win for Bell, even though the scorecards reflected a fight that was not as close as it actually was.
Well, it's one fight that we're both going to watch on tape here very shortly, but it's time now to move forward with your favorite segment. Every week I say it, but it's the truth. You love this segment. You always come up to me and ask me exactly what people are going to ask you.
No, I don't.
I'm talking about To the Max, and it's presented, of course, by Miller High Life. If you got a question, or if you're upset at this guy for any reason whatsoever, just log on to ESPN.com, go to the boxing section, and write the question in for To the Max. You ready?
I guess. I don't know. What do you got there?
Question number 1 this evening on To the Max comes from Al Arilota from Rochester, New York. I hope I got that name right there, Al. You say De La Hoya's 5 belts aren't legitimate. What about Sugar Ray Leonard's 5 belts? He won 2 on the night that he fought Donnie Lalonde.
Yes, but they were so-called recognized belts. And because a weight division like light heavyweight's 175 pounds, that just means you can't weigh more than 175 pounds. You can be contracted to come in for less than 175. That's what Leonard and Lalonde did. But by the way, I also think that's a little bit iffy right there. I don't give credit to Leonard for 5 belts the way I would had he won a 5th belt in a separate fight at 175 pounds. By the way, if a guy wins WBA, WBC, IBF, usually he's called undisputed. In other words, the WBO doesn't have legitimacy to dispute a claim to the undisputed title, which means they also don't have the legitimacy to claim a champion. So if you don't need the belt to be undisputed, blah, 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 blah.
So what we're going to do
De La Hoya, 4 divisions. Tremendous accomplishment. Why pretend it's something it isn't? It's a tremendous accomplishment.
All right, next up, Shane Grisenthwaite out of St. Albert, Alberta. We're going to Canada next week, folks, so it should be exciting. Roy Jones Jr. versus Sugar Ray Robinson. That's it. That's all he writes down. Roy Jones Jr. versus Sugar Ray Robinson.
It's going to make a lot of people mad. Look, Ray Robinson was a natural welterweight, pound for pound, the greatest fighter of all time. Roy Jones may be, pound for pound, the most talented fighter ever. I think Ivan Goldman, who writes for Ring and all those magazines, called him the most talented. It's a good way of putting it. And Roy Jones is really a natural 168-pounder, naturally about 20 pounds heavier than Ray Robinson. I like Jones in a boring fight on points.
Jones over Robinson.
In a boring fight on points.
So
He's
you're
bigger,
saying
he's 2 divisions, 3 divisions bigger.
The greatest of all time losing to the greatest of this time.
But he's not in his best fighting weight, Robinson.
All right, we got more to go. Here we go. JP out of San Diego, California. Right to ask, talking about pound for pound, is Tim Austin pound for pound in the top 10 right now?
You could argue. I wouldn't argue against you. If you asked me really my opinion, I'd say top 12, 13, something like that. But who knows? Could be top 10.
Another great matchup coming up here on the horizon. Kirby Aquino's mentioning it here tonight out of San Jose, California. Bernard Hopkins versus Felix Trinidad.
Oh, what a great fight. What about it? Who do I like? I like Tito, man. The Trinidad has looked awesome recently. And I think the difference between Hopkins and Trinidad is Hopkins is an A-, Trinidad's an A+.
Final question at To The Max. Jay Traveler out of Evansville, Indiana. You keep talking about Don King being good for boxing. Are you getting paid well?
You just can't win. Are you kidding? Is this a joke? Has someone not been watching me? I'm probably Don King's most outspoken critic since Jack Newfield, until recently, of the New York Post. You gotta be kidding me. I'm saying good things about you. Just can't win. I don't know. Sometimes someone hates me, I'm saying bad things about King. They turn around and all of a sudden I'm supporting him. I don't know. I consider myself a critic of Don King. I wasn't aware that I pandered.
If you're really wondering, I'm the one who always has to pick up the check.
Oh, you know, he's just lying now.
That answers
now,
that
it's fibbing before, now it's lying.
Well, next week we'll not be paying in dollars, we'll be paying in Canadian pounds. I believe it's the pounds up there. As Tuesday Night Fights heads north of the border for Eric Lucas against Glenn Catley for the WBC Super Middleweight title. It's all coming your way next Tuesday night out of beautiful Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Those fans in Montreal are nuts, man. That's going to be fun.
But coming up tonight, our main event. Manuel Conti and Ivo Elder, but Bernard Hopkins is also a fighter we're going to be talking to here shortly. Max talked to him. Stay tuned. It's all coming up.